come with me to shoot a jewellery campaign in Barcelona. Hello, I'm Olivia Bossert, a fashion photographer, AI and mixed media artist based in London, and I'm taking you with me to Barcelona this week for a jewellery campaign with one of my favourite clients, Daisy Jewellery. On Sunday, we took a short flight from London to Spain for my first shoot of 2025. We were based in this gorgeous apartment in the centre of the city, which had the most gorgeous floor-to-ceiling windows. Daisy love a natural light look, and we always shoot both video and stills for these campaigns, so we only used continuous lights for these images. For any of you who are newbies, that just means that there's no flash when we're shooting, the lights are always on. I was joined by my friend and assistant Sasha. If you've been following me for a while, then you'll have seen Sasha in a lot of my behind the scenes before. She's become one of my closest friends, and I try to have her on all of my shoots because she's really, honestly, the best. Having an assistant with you who is an expert in their field is so invaluable. Whilst I could do these shoots alone, Sasha has worked on huge sets for so long, for like years and years, and she knows so much more about lighting equipment than I ever could. We're a powerhouse when we're together, and because we've worked together for so many years, she knows what I like, and often we just do things without even me asking her to. I genuinely don't know what I would do without her, so this is your sign to find yourself the best assistants and keep hold of them like your life depends on it. For day one of the shoot, we did everything in the flat. The shoot itself was quite straightforward. They just wanted images with soft, natural light, but one of the issues we did face throughout the day was how strong the sun was. We're not used to that in the UK. It's very overcast this time of the year, so having sunshine to work with was a blessing and a curse. For instance, in this image in the kitchen, we bounced the light onto the white shutter to counteract the fact that the sun was shining directly behind the model. Without the light on the model, she would have been totally backlit and we would have been seeing nothing of her face, like she would have been totally in shadow. These shoot days are quite busy, so we don't often have a lot of time to experiment or faff about really. It's really about problem solving in the moment, being clever and working fast. This is another reason why having my assistant Sasha with me, she's acting like my second brain, helps me out so much. If I was doing all of this on my own, I think it would be way too overwhelming for me. I asked if I could show a sneaky preview of one of the images from the shoot, so here is one of the results. As you can see, the model is very nicely lit from the front, but it's still soft, and you can see a little glimpse of the buildings in the background, so you're still getting that lovely view of Barcelona. It's giving its context and setting, while still making sure that the jewellery is shining. For day two of the shoot, we moved out of the flat and into the most incredible restaurant on the seafront of the city. Like, look how sunny it was. Again, it's a blessing and it's a curse. Some of the biggest struggles that we had in this location was how bright the sun was, because it was backlighting the model for most of the shots. But also, it was the fact that the sun kept moving, obviously. There's a reason that on commercial shoots we end up avoiding being completely natural light dependent, because we just can't control the light, and commercial shots do need to have a level of consistency between the images, and we can only do that when we have control over the lighting. That being said, with a lot of clever tricks with bouncing light and placing the model in strategic places, we did actually manage to do a lot of the images with just sunlight, and that was really lovely. I love being able to just use natural light when I can. This shoot was genuinely so much fun, and I'm really lucky that I get to work with repeat clients over and over again. I've been working with Daisy Jewellery for 4 years now, so the more we work together, the easier it gets. Doesn't mean it's not really exhausting though. I am absolutely shattered by the end of these shoot days. I am officially back at home and I am surrounded by a lot of mess. So I'm going to unpack all my bags, and I thought I'd show you what I brought with me to this trip to Barcelona, because there are a few things that I packed that are like the essentials. I think they're really important to share with you. Tripod, This tripod is the Manfrotto 055, and I don't actually use it for my cameras, I use it for my tether station, which is this big heavy thing, and it looks like a big suitcase, but it's actually a laptop case, and it can screw onto the tripod really easily, and it's how I have my laptop like on a stand so we can tether to it wherever we go, and it's essential. I bought it probably like 4 years ago, and I've had it ever since, and it's amazing. It's full of other things because when I packed it I just filled it up with stuff. A tiny reflector, we didn't use this, but you never know. One of the things I wanted to talk about is probably the cheapest bit of kit I own, but the piece of kit that we use the most, and it is these 3 shower curtains that I bought off Amazon about 3 or 4 years ago, and they are quite thick. They're white, but they are slightly translucent. They cost me maybe £10 each, maybe 15, I can't really remember. They come on every shoot with me. I use them all the time, and they are fantastic for both diffusing light and for also creating bounce. And we used these loads, especially because when we were shooting this campaign for Daisy, we were in quite small spaces, and sometimes we needed to be able to adapt quickly. And you can pin these on anything. We hung them to walls, we hung them to windows. We had an Ultra Bounce, which is a really big, basically large black and white panel that folds in half and is fabric, and it's quite lightweight, and you can either have it on the black side to create negative fill, or you can have it on the white side to create positive fill and bounce. You can add these onto that to increase the amount of diffusion or the amount of bounce you want, so we added them onto that. Basically just a really cheap way of having something extremely versatile that you can use with flash, with continuous light, with natural light, and they don't go anywhere without me, to be honest. So yeah, really good piece of kit that I really rate, and I recommend every photographer has in their bag. A-clamps. I mean, I don't think we actually use these ones, but they come with me because we never know when we need them. This is just a random bag of more clamps and clips and things I've accumulated over the years. And then this is a data color spider checker, which is a color checker, and it's got a grey card in it. And this is, I'm not very technical, but this is like the way that you get the white balance to be accurate in images. SSD, standard hard drive. This is a Samsung one. The T7 Shield. Case that everything was in, and my laptop just sits in there on the tripod like that. We actually hired the majority of the equipment in Barcelona because it was easier to do that than try and ship a ton of stuff over from the UK. I only brought with me 2 bodies, and I actually have an important story to share with you here, which I'll get to in a minute. Tethering cables, don't at me about how badly these are wrapped up. But one thing that did happen while we were shooting, and this was the last shot of the day, I have been using the same Nikon D850 body for 4 years, and I've never had any issues with it. And then all of a sudden, at the very end of the day, my computer and my camera would not connect. Like, I could not get the tether port to work. And we didn't know what was wrong. We thought maybe the cable had died. So I always have backup cables with me. So I ran up to get another cable while Sasha, my assistant, was trying to figure out what was going on. And neither of us could work it out. And I have a second D850 body that I bought refurbished and secondhand. It's hardly been used. A few months ago. What we think has happened to my original body is the port that you put the tether cable into has got damaged somehow, whether it was a few weeks ago on a shoot or a few months ago on a shoot and someone
ripped it out, or I pulled it out too hard, or I don't know, but it stopped working. Completely stopped working, would not connect to the computer anymore. And so I had to fall back on this backup body, and I'm so glad I had it, because I ended up using this for the whole second day of the shoot, and because it's exactly the same camera body, no one noticed. I didn't notice the difference once I got shooting, absolutely fine. So this is the importance of having second of everything in your kit, really. Second camera on you as a backup camera, second tether cable as a backup cable. I've told the story many times of when I was on set and the client accidentally stepped on the tethering cable I was using. It ripped out, it broke, literally snapped, and this was a different camera, so it wasn't that incident that broke that camera. And I didn't have a backup cable on me. It ended up working out, long story, but basically I learnt a big lesson that day of always have backups on you. So backup camera is crucial. So don't ever go on a shoot without at least a backup option of a camera. I don't really care what camera it is, as long as it can do the same or similar to what you've been doing so far in your shoot. But you want to have something that you can fall back on if something breaks, because we are working with equipment that sort of goes through a lot of wear and tear. My camera gets used heavily, and it's, you know, been bashed about, and who knows, I'm going to get it repaired. I'm going to send it off to Nikon and see what I can do. Thankfully, I have got another body that I was going to sell that I haven't sold yet, so that can act as my backup until I get that fixed. So it's not a problem. So I'm going to send that off to Nikon and get it repaired. The other thing that I have is speaking of tethering, a tether lock. This is a tiny little block that you feed the cable of your tether cable through, and then you lock it under your camera, and it holds the tether cable in place so that if it does get yanked, it's not gonna like destroy the camera, destroy the cable, and it's just very useful. There are expensive ones on the market. I bought this one really cheap on Amazon years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still going strong, does the job. You don't need anything that fancy, to be honest. And then the other things I brought were lots of spare batteries for cameras. Again, good thing about having the same two cameras is that batteries just go in both of them, so it doesn't really matter. I didn't shoot to SD cards at all, but if I had SD cards ready to go. I just keep them in this little case. I've had this case, again, probably 5-6 years, and it's great. And that's kind of it for my kit that I brought with me. Everything else that we hired. I didn't bring any lighting. I didn't bring any stands apart from my tripod. We had everything delivered and used on site because it was just easier. Yeah, so that was what I brought with me. Hope that was interesting. Now I need to put all my stuff away because I physically cannot work in this environment. You can't see how bad it is, but you can see my wardrobe behind me. I need to put all my clothes away and put all my kit away, and then I can actually sit down at my desk and do some work.
Okay, office is cleaned up and everything is put away. I don't know about you, but the thing I hate the most after any shoot is putting away all my kit. Sometimes it doesn't happen for a few days. But today it happened immediately because I need to get back to it. The images are currently backing up to my big hard drives, and Milo is wanting to go for a walk. So, are we going to go for a walk? You want to go for walkies? Don't look so excited. No walk? Come on, do you want to go for a walk? Yeah. Okay, let's go. Yeah. I thought so.
First things first is taking Milo for a walk, and also myself for a walk. Loud birds. It is pretty grey, but so good to get outside. I've obviously been very busy for the last 2 days, so feeling a little bit tired, but very happy and also satisfied. So easing my way into being back at home with a nice woodland walk.
can go home. Come on. Come on, what's this? Come. I have just wrapped up emails for the day, so I try to only go into my inbox like 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once around lunchtime, and once at the end of the day. That just means that I'm sort of always hitting everyone that I need to speak to. I sent a mailer out, which is like a newsletter, to all of my industry contacts today, and I've got 2 inquiries back about some of my work as a result of that. So I've got 2 meetings booked in for next week now, which is very exciting. Really great way to kick off January, because it's literally probably my first proper day back at work today, seeing as last week I was really ill, and then I was away on this job with Daisy on Monday and Tuesday, so today's my first day feeling really back to it in terms of energy levels, so it feels great to get some inquiries and get some work potentially on board. So that's very exciting. I'm going to do some final little bits of admin for my education business now, and then I'm going to head into my art room because I'm going to do about an hour of just sketchbook work and just some playing around. I love to end my day with doing something a bit creative and fun, so I'll bring you along to that as well. Well, I was going to go into my art room and do some drawing and painting, but then I got an idea for something I wanted to make on my computer, and I've been here ever since. I haven't moved, and it's kind of fun when this kind of stuff happens because you get into flow, and I'm definitely in flow right now, even though it's very dark outside and I don't normally work this late, but clearly I'm just feeling the vibes of the fun. So I'm actually creating a downloadable resource about AI and mixed media and my work and how brands can use it. So I'm designing that at the moment, and I will give you a little sneak peek of what it looks like in a minute so you can see. This just gives you an idea of how many iterations this single document has had. I have made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Hopefully the 6th time is the actual one. I'm working on it slowly but surely. Here's how it's looking so far. Oh god, there we go. Looking so far. There we go. I hope you've really enjoyed coming with me to Barcelona for my first shoot of the year. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below and I will absolutely get back to you. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because there are going to be loads more vlogs and loads more videos just like this coming for you all year and beyond. Have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next one.